The Top Hat Man and Other Encounters. I have always been a curious and logical person, convinced from a young age that everything could be understood. I became determined to learn everything about everything, believing that in doing so, I would gain the power to control my own destiny. But despite my efforts, there have been experiences in my life that I have yet to explain. One such experience, which sparked my curiosity about metaphysical phenomena, happened when I was about 8 years old. I was watching TV at my dad's house, dozing off on the couch with him around sunset. Suddenly, I woke up in the bottom bunk of my bed in my room that was dimly lit by the streetlight filtering through the blinds. As the haze of sleep faded, I wondered how I had gotten there. It was then that I noticed my bedroom door was wide open, revealing the long, dark hallway beyond. An oddity, because I had always been afraid of the hallway and never left my door open. As I gathered my thoughts and looked around, I was struck by a fear so intense it felt like my heart was sinking into my stomach. Beside my bed stood a dark figure so tall, the view of its upper body was obscured by the bunk bed above me. Frozen in terror, I lay there, unsure of what to do. If I called for help, would my dad get there in time? And if he did, would he even be able to save me? I decided to stay still, unmoving, even as the discomfort of my stillness, the itchiness of my blanket, and the heat and sweat from being wrapped up made it unbearable. After what felt like hours, the figure moved. It walked out of my room into the hallway, crouching slightly to avoid knocking its top hat off its head. After some time staring into the darkness of the hallway, praying it doesn't come back, an entire new monstrous creature crawled from under my bed and scurried into the darkness of the hallway on all fours. I only caught a glimpse of this one, but it was not like the shadow of the Top Hat Man. It looked real, like an anorexic humanoid creature with a light grey skin down. Unsure of what else could happen, I remained frozen until the sun began to rise. By then, I had convinced myself it was all just a dream and, exhausted, drifted back to sleep. The next morning, I woke up in my bed with the door still open. I asked my dad how I had gotten there, since I didn't remember. He told me that I had walked to my bed, staring blankly as I did. When he spoke to me, I would walk to the hallway and stare at nothing, repeating the cycle until I eventually got into bed and fell asleep. Again, an oddity as I never slept walked before. After that night, I began researching lucid dreaming, astral projection, the gateway process, and otherworldly phenomena, trying to make sense of it. I began practicing these techniques in search of answers, in search of protection. Dream or not, I would be ready next time. And so, that was the first of many encounters with the Top Hat Man. Since then, I've had numerous encounters, some so intensely real they were indistinguishable from reality, and others clearly in my dreams. I've also met many other entities, some good, some bad. For many years, I mostly kept these experiences to myself, convinced they were likely a product of my turbulent upbringing. That is, until a couple of years ago, when a friend I met at college began telling me about a haunting his cousin had experienced, which eventually forced them to move houses. When he started describing the entity that terrorized his cousin, that same intense feeling, the one that made my heart sink into my stomach, hit me again. His cousin was haunted by a tall, shadowy figure wearing a top hat. I am now convinced that it was real. And through my research, I discovered that my childhood nemesis, the Top Hat Man, is part of a global phenomenon. As if that realization triggered something, the frequency and intensity of my dreams increased in the months that followed. Some dreams were peaceful, where I would explore beautiful, indescribable spaces outside reality itself. In others, I would talk to entities that would bestow me with information and ideas that clearly came from beyond my own imagination. And of course, like the Top Hat Man, there were some that were terrifying and malicious, trying to get something from me. It became so bad that I couldn't sleep, and I started smoking weed to avoid dreaming at all.